before we switch topics, when I was asking you in class one time about the general outlook on the gender neutral bathrooms and the co-living spaces at Yale, I was thinking from a sense of, do Muslims get upset about it? Do they change it? So you were telling me that, yes, that is the case, that every spring you get a bunch of... Do you think it's mostly the parents that are upset? Like, are are the children upset along with them?
Yeah.
Or are they like, no, I don't really care. Like, this is...
That's a great question. I think, and I'm glad that you remember that question. I appreciate you bringing it up. I think that parents, obviously, I've gotten angry phone calls and, disgruntled phone calls from parents. But to the credit of our student community is the students are the ones that themselves feel very deeply violated. Mm-hmm. They're like, it's disproportionately more women than men, I understand, but we do have men that have complained as well, right? Mm-hmm. But let's just take the issue from a woman's perspective. Women said whether or not they wear hijab, I want to say I've seen equally both ways, right? As a Muslim woman, they're mashallah, they've grown up with a Muslim sense of haya, a sense of modesty and what boundaries are, right? Private space versus public space, right? That they're just like, it is inconceivable for me to be sharing a bathroom, right, with men and women and beyond, right? Like the intimacy of a bathroom, right? Of like what, of a private space with strangers, even if they're not strangers, right? With ghair mahrams for that matter, right? To be showering there, to be, to be using the bathroom, etc. That is just, they find it deeply, not even beyond uncomfortable. It's just really kind of, it's gross, right, for them. Right. And so to their credit, mashallah, the people that complain, it's the students themselves that are just like, I don't want to live like this. I will talk about all the super wokeness you want in class and, all of the theory of this and the theory of that. But where the rubber meets the road is how I live my life. Exactly. Right? Is that there are certain red lines, right, that they don't want to cross.
So they did try fighting it.
Yeah.
What was the result?
The result is that, the university and I will talk about Yale, but we can go beyond Yale. This is sort of the modern liberal university is definitely moving in this direction, some faster than others, is that this is not going away. You got to deal with it. Like, we are moving into the realm of beyond gender binaries, gender boundaries, and things like that, and that we want mixed spaces like this, and that eventually this should be the norm. There's a normalizing of it. Mm-hmm. And so they, if they're polite and want to be somewhat, religiously literate, they'll say that we understand your concerns, and we understand that maybe in your religious community you have different standards of modesty and behavior around these things, but we believe that there's values that trump those values, right, of inclusivity, and it's all done under the name of inclusivity. Right. And I'm Punjabi, and we say yar, like, when you get in, when they throw down that card, I mean, that's a whole different ball game then, right? That's a losing battle, right? Because they've already stacked the game in a certain way that you're always going to lose. The house always wins, as they say, right? Yeah. And so
they basically they said no.
Yeah.
And since that happened. And this has been around a while, right?
This has been on for several years. I mean, I've been here 14 years, and I don't even remember when it started, but it's been around a while.
Okay, so since it's been around, has there been a decrease in Muslim enrollment at Yale? Everybody's cool with it, or has it? Like, what do you think?
It's a good question. I mean, I'm happy to go into the weeds on this one, and I can keep talking. You know me, right? Yeah. Is that what the Muslim enrollment has gone up? MashaAllah. Okay. Like across the university. But here's the thing. Honestly, my assessment on this is this. And I love my community. I respect my community. These are my people, right? But if I'm saying there's anyone listening out there that's going to apply to Yale or apply to a similar type of university, I always tell you, buyer beware. Buyer beware. Before you send your children or before you go off to college yourself, do your homework, figure out what the actual college living experience residentially is like. Because I understand it. These places are businesses. They want to sell you a product. You look at Yale, it looks like Harry Potter Hogwarts, right? It's that Gothic architecture. Right. Everyone's smiling and happy on the website and the videos. They want to sell it to you, man. And people want to buy, right? They want to come. These are super elite, selective places, right? And so when people come here, the last thing most of them check, right, is what is it really like to live, on campus? For me as a Muslim, like, how am I going to experience this? And so some people call me before they come, and I tell them, here are all the amazing things about our community. We'd love to have you as a part of our Muslim community, right? You would make us stronger and better. Become part of our family. Become part of our team here. But here's what you need to know. X, Y, and Z before you come. I'm not saying I don't want you to come, But I would be unethical and would be remiss if I didn't tell you this, right? You got to
Right.
go in eyes wide open. I think the problem is, to get to your question, too many people at Yale and other places, when they parents send their kids there, or when students go there themselves, they are not asking these questions, or it's there's other competing interests. It's the excitement of like, no, I want to go there, I want to study there, I'm going to go and do X, Y, and Z when I'm there. That it doesn't feel real. But when you get there and you're like, first day in, you open the door, you walk into your dorm room and you look around the hallway and you're like, this is what it's going to be like,
Exactly.
right? That's when it really kind of hits you. And so my message, my job is literally to advocate for them. I fight the good fight for them as best as we can, and I want to be as a Muslim, as fair as possible. We have people who are genuinely sympathetic to the concerns of our community that say like, look, we feel really bad for you in this situation, and we wish that we could help, and we'll do the best that we can. And sometimes, right, and this is unique to Yale's lottery system, sometimes women can get all women's bathroom floors, sometimes they don't, right, etc.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a requirement.
No, it's not a requirement, but and I apologize if I misspoke there, is that it's a gamble.
Okay.
You could, but you might not. And chances are you might not get sort of the housing bathroom assignment the way you want.
Right.
But you know what? It's like, you're here now, and Yale requires you first year and sophomore year, you have to live on campus, and then you can move off junior, senior year if you want to. Private, students, I know a number of Muslim students that get their own apartments because they want their own kitchen, they want their own bathroom.
But that's junior year.
That's junior year, yeah.
Okay. So this is across the board co-ed for any religious group, and I'm sure this isn't only for Muslims. I'm sure.
No, we have many. I know many stories. I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I know many stories of particularly Jewish students, Orthodox Jewish students that are deeply uncomfortable. In fact, honestly, from a fiqh point of view, it's basically the same dalil as us, right? They have the same arguments, right? From it's called the halakhic, is their version of Sharia. It's the same argument that men and women should not be sharing private space like this together. Right. So, I mean, that's fascinating, mashallah. So it
was never some sort of unified effort between Muslims and Jews that tried to get things to change at Yale?
I think that's a great question. I think many students have had these conversations, to be fair to them. A lot of students have complained to each other, like Jewish students to Muslim students, and etc. And I think the power of the university and of university administrations is just so massive that it's an uphill battle. I wish administrators did better, and if there's any administrators listening to this call, do better. Become more religiously literate, have an honest conversation with us, and listen to where Muslim concerns are, and be more welcoming and inclusive to Muslim concerns.
Exactly.
Right? And if you're not, then we know where you're coming from.
I got you. So